Hey folks, Dr. Jeff Williams here with Creekstone Integrated Care right here in beautiful Amarillo, Texas. Once again coming to you this week with a new video. This one's called, I have to sit at my job all day. How can I stop my pain? Well, the questions of how to ease the pain and tension in one's neck and back from sitting all day at the office, it really has several different answers and several different solutions. The key to resolving this issue is one of cooperation, right? Our society wants a pill to cure everything these days, with little to zero buy-in from the one who's actually in pain. Of course, intuitively, we know that body aches and pains do not really work that way. It's a little different. What we work ourselves into requires us typically to work ourselves out of. Now, that is really the easiest way to put it. So let's talk about posture first. Let's break it down just a bit first. What is the perfect posture? Well, ideally, it is sitting straight up with the shoulders back, the head retracted to where the ear holes are above the tips of the shoulders, and the tips of the shoulders are in a line directly above the hips, while you look straight ahead with a monitor that is roughly right at eye level. In addition, the feet would be separated at about shoulder width and placed flat on the floor. Now that's ideal, that's perfect. But the problem is not usually what we would consider as bad posture. Research these days is more and more clear. The posture that is not ideal is not necessarily bad. For example, leaning and slumping to your right for a brief amount of time, and then leaning and slumping to your left for a brief period of time before sitting more upright, that's not necessarily undesirable, but we would consider it intuitively undesirable, if that makes sense. So the reason it's not bad to do that is that there is a consistent shift in the posture. So it's not considered bad posture anymore because you're consistently moving between the bad postures, okay? However, an undesirable position that is held, that is sustained for longer periods of time, that is considered bad posture. Now, sitting straight up with your chest out, shoulders back, and head pulled back to where the ears are over the shoulders, while this position is considered good posture, it's not natural. And it's difficult to maintain and hard to hold consistently. On the other hand, the undesirable positions, unfortunately, are much easier to hold and maintain. And isn't it that way with just anything that's bad for you? We all think that dessert tastes better than broccoli, right? For example, positions that involve slumping forward in front of a computer screen with your head poked out like a chicken, you know the one. It's bad for you when it's sustained and it's maintained over a period of time. Positions like looking down at our cell phones all day, every day. Teenagers, they've made that position pretty famous, along with a new term called text neck. These positions, maintained, sustained, those are truly considered bad postures. So, the first thing to address here is a consistent change in whatever postures you choose to adopt throughout the day. Next, let's talk about movement. Movement is healing, so it is important to keep moving as much as possible. Not only is sitting still bad, but sitting is also the most pressure you can put on your low back discs. Combine sitting with bending slightly forward, a person is really putting their low backs at risk of having some issues. Keeping that in mind, it's best to get up from time to time. Now, I like to recommend setting an alarm or a timer on your phone for about 45 minutes or so. Everybody's different and you can adjust it as needed, but at least every 45 minutes you should stand up and you should walk around for a couple of minutes and maybe do a little bit of stretching. And it would be even more advantageous to have a Varidesk, one that goes up and down as you stand or sit. This way, a person can either sit or stand and still work and still be productive. Since they can be a tad on the expensive side, the Varidesks, well, they may not be in the budget, but still, they are very useful for office workers. So get up, walk around for a couple of minutes every 45 minutes, and use your phone to remind you to do it so you don't forget. A very desk would also come in handy, particularly in the mornings. So as we sleep, our discs fill up with more water. Since we're not up walking around all day, bearing weight on those discs and squishing them down. If the morning is when our discs are more full and fatter with water, and sitting is the most pressure we can put on our low back discs, well, it makes sense to stand to work for the first hour and a half or so that you can reduce strain on the discs and probably mitigate any potential injury. Now, let's talk about upper cross syndrome. It's another consideration for people that sit at the office all day. It's the posture one adopts from sitting with hunched over backs and necks that are poked out too much, too often. Over time, maintaining this sort of posture is stressful on the neck and the upper back. And at some point, the connective tissues, the muscles, and even the bones will begin to change and remodel themselves to accept the normal posture, the new normal posture, rather than to continue to fight the stresses you're putting it through. Your body is forced to remodel through repetitive stress. So think of computer workers, jewelers, nail techs, dentists, dental assistants, and office workers sitting in one position all day. When your body remodels itself, the change is permanent. It cannot be fixed, cannot be repaired. And that's why it's important to continue to pay close attention to how you sit throughout the day, how often you're moving, and how often you walk around and stretch your low back and your neck. So here are some exercises you can Google up that are helpful in fighting upper cross syndrome. Cervical retractions, deep neck flexor exercises, levator stretch, trapezius stretch, corner pectoralis stretch, YTWL, scapular depression, low row, and Bruggers with a band. Now, in addition to those exercises, to loosen up the mid and upper back areas, I would get a foam roller for use at home, and I would regularly roll out my back at night. This should keep some healthy movement in the thoracic spine and potentially provide a way to help counteract the effects of any slumping done throughout the day. So to wrap it up, at the end of the day, workers forced to be in undesirable positions for a large part of the day should be visiting their favorite evidence-based, patient-centered chiropractor for regular chiropractic care. This is going to ensure that you're staying on top of the situation and you're doing all you can to counteract the effects of your job. And while we cannot always control the fact that we need to sit in front of a screen for a large part of the day, we can control how we do it. And just a little bit of attention to biomechanics and regular movement can really make a world of difference when it comes to suffering any potential symptoms. Now, I hope that helped. Again, I'm Dr. Jeff Williams with Creekstone Integrated Care here in Amarillo, Texas. We see car wrecks, we see work comp, we see family, just regular families, wellness care, we see them all. I am West Texas's only fellowship-trained chiropractic orthopedist. So no matter what you've got or how long you've had it, there's a heck of a good chance that we can do something to address it. So give us a holler. Our website is creekstonecare.com and our phone number is 806-355-3000. We look forward to seeing you.